a small town shrouded in darkness, there once lived a boy named Liam. Liam was an introverted soul who lacked friends and a close bond with his family. Unfazed by his solitary existence, he found solace in the silence. One fateful night, when Liam was just 5 years old, he relished the joy of having his own room, free from the company of his sisters. As he lay peacefully in bed, a mysterious noise echoed through the room, originating from his window. Startled but determined to be brave, Liam cautiously approached the window to investigate the source of the disturbance. Peering outside, his eyes widened in terror as he beheld a creature unlike anything he had ever seen before. With teeth as sharp as daggers, claws resembling razors that could cleave steel in half, and skin as black as the deepest abyss, the creature stood before him. Its hair was wild and unkempt, while its eyes burned a menacing shade of blood red. But most horrifying of all was the wicked smile adorning its face, unveiling a row of terrifying teeth. Overwhelmed by fear, Liam let out a piercing scream and sprinted to his parents' room, desperately seeking refuge from the monstrous presence that had invaded his sanctuary. "Mommy! Mommy! There's a monster in my room!" he cried out, his voice trembling with terror. Dismissing his claims as nothing more than a bad dream, his mother groaned and reluctantly rose from her bed, only to find no trace of the monster beneath Liam's bed or within his closet. Although his mother assured him it was merely a figment of his imagination, Liam remained convinced that the nightmare was all too real. Despite his lingering apprehension, he eventually drifted off to sleep, compelled by the upcoming school day. As the years passed, Liam never encountered the monster again, gradually consigning the memory to the depths of his subconscious. Now a 14-year-old, he continued to lead a solitary life, devoid of companionship and distant from his family. However, a heated argument with his sisters, Lizzie and Abby, triggered a resurgence of anger within him. Lizzie, the youngest, ventured into his room, deliberately tampering with and destroying his belongings. In contrast, Abby, the eldest, defended her actions, insisting it was an accident. While his parents sided with his sisters, the unfairness of the situation ignited a deep-seated fury within Liam. He pondered, "Why does everyone hate me? I've done nothing wrong." Eventually, Liam managed to calm his turbulent emotions and settle down for the night. Just as he was about to close his eyes, the unimaginable unfolded before him. Standing once again in his room was the same horrifying monster he had encountered years ago. Frozen in shock, Liam observed as the creature stood motionless, wearing that chilling smile, its teeth bared in a display of pure malevolence. Rationalizing that it must be part of a recurring nightmare, he reluctantly surrendered to sleep. All the while the creature's haunting smile etched into his mind. Morning arrived, and Liam awoke to a scene more ghastly than any he could have imagined. His family lay before him, lifeless and dismembered, their bodies torn asunder. Overwhelmed by grief and terror, Liam summoned every ounce of courage and hurriedly contacted the police. The authorities, appalled by the brutality of the crime scene, speculated that a mentally disturbed individual or a savage beast was responsible for the carnage. The deep gashes and bite marks on the victims' bodies, coupled with their vacant, lifeless eyes, painted a picture of unimaginable horror. It appeared as though they had fought valiantly, but in the end, their efforts were in vain. The police were at a loss, comparing the scene to something straight out of a tortuous nightmare, uncertain whether it was the work of a human or an animal. Consequently, Liam found himself placed under the care of a foster family, where he underwent a series of interviews to assess his suitability for adoption.
Unbeknownst to them, I had infiltrated the family's lives, assuming the role of their new son. Observing their interactions, I could sense their unease around me, their suspicions aroused by the lingering aura of difference that emanated from my very being. I returned to their home, a place filled with numerous children, both biological and fostered. My room awaited me, adorned with Spider-Man posters and a blue-painted wall, reminiscent of a typical boy's abode. Exhausted, I lay down on the unfamiliar bed, contemplating the peculiar dynamics of this new family. Something told me they were not what they seemed. As sleep beckoned me, I succumbed to its call. In my dreams, the monstrous entity with its razor-sharp teeth returned, gruesomely exterminating my newly found family. The nightmarish vision unfolded in all its repulsive detail, intensifying the torment that gripped my mind. Startled awake, drenched in cold sweat, I ventured into the living room, only to discover the lifeless bodies of my foster family, bearing the same gruesome wounds as my previous kin. Bewilderment and dread engulfed me as I grappled with the realization that a relentless killer was stalking me, obliterating the families I had been a part of, leaving me as the sole survivor. Fear consumed my every thought, and I knew I had to take action. Without delay, I rushed to the police, desperate for their assistance. They arrived at the scene, met with the harrowing sight of the deceased family members. The police were confounded by the inexplicable chain of events, grappling to comprehend the motives behind the heinous acts that had unfolded. I, too, found myself trapped in a web of uncertainty, grappling with my newfound reality. No longer did I feel safe in the presence of others. Seeking refuge from the horrors that plagued my existence, I purchased a small house. It provided a semblance of security, a sanctuary for a single soul. Alone, I ordered a pizza and immersed myself in a series of movies, attempting to distract my tormented mind. Work awaited me in the morning, and I needed to gather strength from the precious hours of sleep that remained. Despite the late hour, a haunting compulsion drew me to the cemetery, the final resting place of the families whose lives had been ruthlessly taken. Rain began to fall as I knelt before my family's tombstones, Lizzie, Abby, and my parents, paying tribute to their tragically shortened lives. As the droplets soaked my clothes, mingling with the tears streaming down my face, I couldn't help but feel an eerie connection between the weeping sky and my own sorrowful state. Gazing upon the grave markers, I felt a perverse smile creep across my lips, bearing my own set of razor-sharp, pointy teeth.